final review for Daughter of Smoke and Bone. At least we get to talk about a lot of characters. Okay, we're talking about Chimaeras today. Why do I say Chimaeras? Well, because there's Brimstone, Issa, Thiago, Ziri, lots of them. Okay, so we're going to talk about all of them. All of them, some more than others, but all of them in general. Okay, and real fast, why are they not getting their own little reviews? Because they really kind of just have minor parts if you think about it. I mean, Ziri has the biggest part, except his was more in the second and third book, which was also Thiago's part because of, yeah, it's complicated. There were characters being this other characters, being the same characters, all over the place. So let's get started. Start on a good note. Brimstone. Okay, I like Brimstone. He's really smart, and that's one of the things that I like about him. We don't really see much of him. I mean, in the first book, yeah, not much of him, but I still like him. How he was just very wisdom filled. How he was just you can't just keep using wishes for stupid things. Turning off a light. Yeah, Brimstone not much in it, but he's very wisdom filled, and you have to give him credit for being smart enough to figure out how to raise the dead. You don't see that very often, and it never said that this was a tradition or anything passed down. So he must have figured it out, right? Which makes him pretty smart. And then Issa is so nice. Okay, I love her. She's Karu's rock, really, because she knows that Karu is in love with Akiva, and she is just not going to judge her. She was just you are in love with him. Go be with him. Okay, you don't find love that often. And I just love that. Okay, I love that she is like that. Okay, and when she was dead, I was like, oh my god. And then she came back, I'm like, yes! So, yeah, that's Brimstone and Issa for you. Props to Brimstone for figuring this out. And then, quickly, the Warlord. I'm not too sure what to make of him, actually. He was made out to be the bad guy from the Angel's perspective. But if you look at him from, the Chimaera perspective, he's a hero. But then it's from our perspective as the audience reading this book, and I don't really know what to make of him. I mean, he's a lot nicer than his son. That is so true. Definitely, for sure. And, I can't really fault him for doing anything, because that seemed I mean, he started a war to protect their country, their world. Can't exactly fault him for that. So, that's the Warlord for you. And Brimstone, Warlord and Brimstone, when they were together, it seemed they were good friends. They just wanted this war to be over. That was what they were looking for. And that ending scene where Brimstone said that line to Akiva and it just stuck with him, I was like, yes. Although, one thing, Brimstone, couldn't he have told Akiva? I'm just saying, a quick message, or going to go find him, or send something to him, to be dude, Karu, Madrigal, she's alive, she's okay. Don't freak out, she's not dead. I just feel that would have solved a lot of problems. But then we wouldn't have this series, and it turns into one of those things where it's if he would have known, would the same outcome have happened? Maybe. I don't know. I'm thinking would the same outcome have come? So I don't really know how the outcome would have happened, or how different it would have been. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. As for our bad notes of Thiago. Okay, first time we saw Thiago, I was comparing him to Akiva, he's a bad guy. It was classic good guy, bad guy scenario. Thiago was obviously the bad guy and kind of just a butt, really. I keep using that word. To describe people, but he was really annoying and rude, okay? He ripped Madrigal's dress and was just like, I can hold it up for you. And honestly, that's like, screams creeper to me, kind of. That's, guys, you don't do that, okay? You don't. And then, like, compared to Akiva, who was, like, using magic to influence moths to cover her. How no one noticed that, I don't know, but yeah. But comparing Thiago to Akiva, relationship-wise, ugh. Relationship-wise, no way, ever. No. No. As far as warrior-wise, he seems pretty strong and like a good fighter. And I gotta say that's a pretty good thing to have in a leader. And then when, like, afterwards, he seemed pretty trying to be nice to Karu. We all know how that turned out, because then he got impatient and tried to do it with her, and then she killed him. That was the end of Thiago, but when he was planning things, hey, he was being kind of creative, I think, with it. Then again, Karu did help him out a little bit, but it was still very brutal and was like, why are you, like, attacking them still? You should be protecting. It really did seem more like that. Like, yeah, it's okay, fine, you can attack them. They did destroy your entire race. But then when they started, like, not just completely ignoring the rest of the Chimaeras, no. That's the point that I was just like, yeah, no, you're kind of a scumbag. So, that's Thiago, really. Like I said, these Chimaeras, they don't have that ginormous of a part. And then, even with 10, she died pretty quickly, but she just annoyed me so much. I said I loved how Karu just was telling her that story and then turned invisible. That was awesome. But she annoyed me so much how she was helping Thiago with all of this. That just annoyed me. And then there's Ziri. Now, Ziri is my favorite Chimaera. I just want to give him a hug. Him and Haziel. I want to give them a hug. And Ziri, you know, at first I didn't really know what, like, was going to be of Ziri, because Ziri was just, like, you saw Ziri, and Karu mentioned how he was, like, part of her kind, like, actual, like, tribe, I think, that they have with Chimaeras. And they were the last, and Ziri described how he had a crush on Madrigal, his little crush, and how he always debated about, like, helping her, saving her, but he kind of knew that he didn't have a chance because he saw Akiva's reaction when she died in front of him. That's going to stick with you. So he knew that they loved each other, and Ziri, I felt really bad for her because I was like, oh, the love triangle, I don't know who she should choose. I really did, because I'm like, she could be with Ziri and I'd be happy with it. She could be with Akiva and I'd be happy with it. But which one? Which will she choose? I don't know. I was gonna be happy either way. Like, she didn't pick Thiago and she did it. And I gotta give props to Ziri. Ziri being Thiago, bravo. Just give him a hand. Okay? He knew exactly how he needed to act to pass for the white wolf. Okay? He knew exactly how he needed to act. He knew exactly how he needed to act in order to make everyone believe that this was all his idea. That this was the plan all along. And being Thiago in front of a bunch of angels and seraphs with all the Chimaeras looking to him, thinking that he's going to tear all of them to shreds. Wow. To keep your cool in that kind of pressure, good job. Good job, Ziri. And then there was the part where, like, Karu was talking about how Thiago's body used to be so crude and stuff, but then Ziri just made it better, made it happier. So in the end, Ziri, love him. Really, if Karu would have picked him, I'd be okay with it. I really wanted her to be with Akiva by the end of the second one, because it was like, okay, you two get together. But during the second book, I was like, Ziri, I'd be fine with it. I'd be fine if she went with Ziri. But him and Loraz got together, did not see that one coming. When he came in there and like helped her and then took her to the healing waters, because it's a place where Chimaera and Ceres exist. There's going to be healing waters. So he like put her in there, and then she woke up, and then he was like, I don't think we've properly met yet. You're just like, I love that part. I love that part so much. And then they come out together, and they figure things out, and then the end comes, and Raz is so scared about it, and Ziri's so scared about it, and they end up flying around together, and I just love them together. So I like this ending so much. So much. Him and Loraz getting together, and then Karoo and Akiva. It was just so beautiful. I love Loraz and Ziri. It's so beautiful. And then there's Wrath and Wrath. I gotta tell you, Wrath is one brave little Chimaera. Okay? I forget what he's called, and I think his name is Wrath. Pretty sure his name is Wrath. But I forget what kind of Chimaera he's called, but I gotta tell you, he is awesome. He stayed behind, helped them fight, and then he was like a man, made into a man, and then he continued to help them fight. So props to him. He is awesome. Okay, so that is all the Chimaeras. Like I said, not very many like big roles. Ziri, Loraz, I love that so much. So what would I tell the Brimstone? If I had to be vague, probably I'd tell him your dream's gonna come true, because his dream was Karoo and Akiva's dream. I'd just say his dream's gonna come true. If I could be specific, I'd be like, again, I'm conflicted. Do I tell him, maybe you should tell Akiva about this? Or do I not tell him that he should tell Akiva about this? But, yeah, you know, I would probably be like, I'd probably look at him and be like, dude, listen, again, your dream's just gonna come true. He'd know exactly what I'm talking about too, so that's vague and specific at the same time. So conflicted about that one though. Again, I don't know the outcome. How would that affect it? No, I'd tell him. I'd be like, dude, you might want to tell Akiva about this, because Thiago is not very smart. Okay, and if I could tell Issa anything, again, the dream's gonna come true, they're gonna get together, keep doing what you're doing, it's working. So that was the specific and vague right there. They're gonna get together, because she was just like, you gotta be together with them constantly. That's like vague and specific again. Vague and specific. The dream will come true. Then Thiago, vague, being vague now. I tell him there's no chance with Karoo. Why? Because he already knows that, I think. Deep down, he knows it. And specific, again, I'm conflicted because a lot of this stuff was a chain of events. But I'd be like, dude, unless you want your entire race to be wiped out, don't do the villain cliche and tell the hero everything about your plans, because that's never going to work. That's again vague and specific because you probably know exactly the situation I'm talking about. Ugh, really, that cliche villain thing? Come on, Thiago. I know that they don't have like movies in Earths, but come on, that's a classic villain cliche. Really, come on. And then Ziri, Ziri, a same thing to Haziel. I'd be like, can I have a hug? Okay, this is what would happen if I had all the characters in front of me. I'd tell them each there's a vague or specific thing for them too. I'd be like, can I have a hug? Because I want to hug Ziri so much. I would ask him that Can I have a hug? That would be my babe. So I would specifically say, dude, if you haven't figured out what Thiago's gonna do with Carew, and then here it is, so why don't you go back there and stop it and help kill him? It sounds a little harsh, but if that is, but I feel like that would just help out, and then he wouldn't feel guilty, and then she would be happy, and they'd be friends, and then he'd still have to be Thiago and stuff maybe, but I would want to be like, this is what's gonna happen when you leave. Don't leave like that. I would tell him that. Don't leave. Specific. And Raph, what would I tell him? Again, for him, vague-wise, I would tell him, again, just keep doing what you're doing. You're gonna help in a good way. And that is very specific now. I'm gonna tell him that what's going on, okay? I'm gonna tell him exactly who Kaiba is, exactly who Hazil is, be like, this is what's going on, they don't want to hurt any of you, so that, like, because there's that scene where he gets there and he's like, yeah, I remember that guy. He was at that cave, they let us go. I'd be like, then that way he could be like, yeah, they don't want to hurt us, and know for sure. So I'd be like, evidence right here, okay? These are the moments where I would want to know what would happen if you went into a book series with the book, tried to help the character out, and then they ask, how do you know this? And you have to just kind of clutch the book to your chest and be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Hiding the cover from them so that they don't see what's going on or anything. Well, that is the final review for Daughter of Smoke and Bone. The final review for Daughter of Smoke and Bone. Next time we're going to be talking about the Kane Chronicles, going back to Rick Riordan. That is it for today. Be sure to check back later for my fourth and final character review predictions edition for Blood of Olympus. Way too excited about this book, but we're going to talk about the Romans. So next week, Kane Chronicles, and a few days from now, the Romans predictions video. Thanks for watching. Bye!